The Chiefs spent a ton of draft capital on the defensive side of the ball, and that begs the question, which rookie is going to have the biggest impact on the Chiefs defense? In this video, I'm joined by Josh Fan of ShowMeFootball.com, and we're going to break down which rookie is going to have the biggest impact. So Josh, the Chiefs spent a ton of draft picks to make this defense better. In the second round, they drafted Omar Norman-Lott. In the third round, they drafted Ashton Gillotte, an edge rusher from Louisville. In the third round, they also got Noah Williams, a cornerback. They also drafted Jeffrey Bassa, a linebacker out of Oregon. They drafted so many players to the defensive side of the ball, and I think that was the right approach going into a very good defensive draft. But in this video, I kind of want to talk about Omar Norman-Lott because I think he has the chance to really break out in 2025. And that's actually what the Chiefs Kingdom believes, because I asked all of them on the YouTube community tab post which defensive player they thought was going to have the best rookie season, and over 51% of them said Omar Norman-Lott. So I want to get your thoughts on that, and just give me your first overall impressions of this new defensive tackle.
Yeah, so I really liked the pick when they made it, and I remember we kind of discussed it shortly after the draft, and I said, I feel like I'm maybe not in the minority, but like I saw a lot of people like not so hot on this pick, but I really liked it because he had the highest pass rush win rate at the position in the entire class. Now, granted, he didn't play a ton of snaps at Tennessee, didn't play as many snaps as some of the other guys in the class, but that's also not necessarily a bad thing. Now, the Chiefs will have to get to the bottom of why he didn't play that much and kind of take what was keeping him off the field and try to harness that potential. But I think, this is a guy that is coming into the league with relatively a fresh set of legs compared to his peers because of the little amount of snaps that he played in college. But highest pass rush win rate in the class. A pass rush specialist at the position. That's what he is. And that's exactly what I've been saying that the Chiefs need at that position for years. Especially as we get into the later years of Chris Jones, you're going to want to have someone that's kind of taking the pressure off him, someone else that's a threat to get to the quarterback from the interior, because it's just been a lot of Chris Jones and a bunch of cast-offs at the defensive tackle position for the past couple seasons. No disrespect to my guy Mike Pennell and Derek Gnati and all those guys, but really it's been Chris Jones and just like the same kind of Jags at that position. So I'm really excited about Omar Norman-Lott. I mentioned it a couple times. I think Tershawn Wharton kind of became that pass rushing partner next to Chris Jones in the interior this past season. Obviously, he's gone now, but the hope is that Omar Norman-Lott steps into that position, but I think the hope is also that he has a higher ceiling than Tershawn Wharton.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned the lack of snaps that he played in college. While he was at Tennessee, he never played more than 301 snaps in the season. And so that is something that normally I would be pretty concerned with. But according to Matt Derrick, the Chiefs don't really have any concerns about his lack of usage. And one of the reasons that I wanted to make this video and talk about this is because Matt Derrick went on The Zone on Sports Radio 810 WHB, and he was talking about how Omar Norman-Lott is going to be a prime candidate to break out from this rookie class. He thinks he could be a day one starter, and if you just look at the defensive tackle room, they've got, Mike Pennell, someone that has been very solid for this team for many years now. They have Jerry Tillery, but you lost Derek Gnati, and this is someone in Omar Norman-Lott who can give you pressure right away. And like you mentioned, the Chiefs truly haven't had a great 1-2 punch to go alongside with Chris Jones, and Tershawn Wharton was good, but Lott is younger, cheaper, and I think that the upside is just much higher.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head right there with that. The hope is that he has a higher ceiling than Tershawn Wharton, kind of like I said. And I think in year one, he's at least someone that can give you a handful of sacks. I think we're going to see him kind of jump off the screen a couple times in his rookie season. And he's coming into a low-pressure situation, I think, as well, which is nice because you obviously still have Chris Jones. Mike Pennell's the wily veteran that's going to get some of the snaps. And then Jerry Tillery, who the Chiefs signed in free agency. I thought that was a sneaky good signing. I'm a fan of that because he's someone that is a threat to get to the quarterback at least a little bit as well. and he's also going to give you some versatility out at edge. But Norman Lott is going to get a chance to showcase his ability this year, because we did a video on my channel before this talking about the Chiefs' edge pressure rate, and Chris Jones is still going to continue to play a lot of snaps out at edge, I think. And you want someone in there on the inside still on those downs where Chris Jones is at the edge that is a threat to get to the quarterback. And I know when the Chiefs originally signed Jarron Reed before the 2021 season, they were kind of hoping that would be the case. It was not.
You know, it's so funny that you mentioned Jarron Reed. I was actually going to mention him. Like, this is a guy that, you know, we thought was going to be the, you know, pass rush specialist to go alongside Chris Jones. Didn't really work out like that. And did he get suspended? There was a weird thing that went on with Jarron Reed. And so he was in the doghouse at one point. And so I feel like the Chiefs, for the first time in many years, maybe since they drafted Chris Jones, well, maybe Derek Nottie, but they spent a significant draft resource on the defensive tackle position. Yeah. And I think that is just such a good thing, because you cannot continue to ask Chris Jones to go out there and just do it all in the middle. Like, you're just going to have to find someone, you know, else to help him. And the nice thing about having Omar Norman Lott is he doesn't have to go out there in his rookie season and light it up. But he's going to have a chance to light it up because so much attention is given to Chris Jones.
Yes.
That if you get something from George Karlaftis, if you get something from his, you know, fellow draft mate, you know, Ashton Gelati on the edge, Omar Norman Lott could have a very good rookie season and still fly under the radar.
Yeah, like I said, he can give you a handful of sacks, and I think that would be a welcome addition to the pass rush next season for Chiefs fans, especially coming from a rookie. And like you said, he's going to have a chance to showcase himself because there's going to be attention on some of the other guys. And like I said, low pressure situation for him, I think, for the most part. And even if it's like a situation like he was at Tennessee where he's not playing that many snaps, but he's productive with those snaps, that's going to be a really positive sign.
When I think out of all of the players the Chiefs drafted in this class, I mean, I guess outside of Josh Simmons, who we kind of think is going to be the starting left tackle if he's healthy, Omar Norman Lott might be the most ready player they drafted. He might be the best, you know, day one starter the Chiefs drafted, and I think that, you know, the Chiefs went into this draft class just looking to find supplemental player talent. And if they found someone that can start right away on a Super Bowl contender, I mean, Josh, that's a fantastic pick.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think Omar Norman Lott, I'm really excited for him. And to find a starter on your defensive line on day 2 of the NFL draft, you'll never scoff at that.
When hopefully, Josh, they found 2. I mean, again, it's going to be very interesting to see, you know, how Ashton Gelati handles, you know, tackles to the next level. But the hope is that he's going to hit 2, and then you got 2 guys, you know, in the, you know, second and third round that can be defensive mainstays, and it just keeps this dynasty going. Now, obviously, that'd be wonderful, but guys just don't hit like that all the time. But I think that Omar Norman Lott was a very safe pick. And if you just look at some of the guys the Chiefs have had at defensive tackle, Derek Nottie was nothing truly special, and he played for a long time here. And I'm not saying that, you know, Omar Norman Lott's going to be Derek Nottie, but even if he is, Josh, it's going to work out. Like, obviously, you'd like him to be more, but if he's Derek Nottie, that's not a fail.
Well, if he's Derek Nottie from a pass rush standpoint, it would be a fail. But if he's Derek Nottie as in the caliber of player, which I'm sure that's what you're getting at, then yes. I don't think anyone will necessarily complain about that. Because also, like, Derek Nottie, at least the first few years, like, was seen as a good draft pick, a good player, but his play definitely tapered off the past couple seasons in KC.
I also want to clarify, I don't think he's going to be Derek Nottie. I think they play 2 very different styles of football.
Right.
Like, one's a run stuffer, one's a guy that, you know, led college football in pressure rating. So I think that the pressure is going to be applied much more from Lott than it would be from Nottie. But I'm just saying that if that's what he ends up being, you know, from a player perspective, you know, the Chiefs have had a lot of guys bust, like Sky Moore, Felix on the defensive line.
Yeah.
I'll take a quality starter that helped this team win multiple championships. Josh, the question that I want to ask you before we get out of here, out of all of the players the Chiefs drafted on the defensive side of the ball, who do you think is going to have, you know, the biggest impact year one?
Well, Omar Norman Lott's a good candidate. Oh, man, that's tough. I
Kind of
think
put you on the spot there.
I'm actually going to go with Ashton Gelati. And the
Okay.
reason I say him is because I think that's the position where the Chiefs are hurting the most for pass rush production. Because, like, at defensive tackle, you can argue the depth is worse at defensive tackle, but the defensive tackle room at least has Chris Jones. The defensive end room doesn't really have that guy that you're turning to every third down to get a sack on the quarterback. I know some people are probably going to say George Karlaftis. That's George Karlaftis, but we just discussed that in a video on my channel, which is actually a great opportunity to plug that. You guys are going to want to watch a video that is on my channel where Michael and I discussed the Chiefs edge room and how that's an issue that the Chiefs need to get resolved for next year. But I think Ashton Gelati has a really good chance to break into that rotation and be someone that the Chiefs look to get those sacks on the money downs.
It's very interesting, and I want to hear from you guys down in the comments section below. Who do you think is going to have, the biggest impact in their rookie season on the defense? There really is no wrong answer. The 1,500 of you that voted on the YouTube community tab think that Omar Norman-Lott's going to be that breakout guy. I hope he is. I think he's going to have, the best chance to start day one. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. Josh, that's really all the time we have in this video. My final question for you is, where can the people find your stuff?
You can find me here on YouTube. Channel name is Show Me Football. You can check out my work on showmefootball.com for more. And then lastly, you can follow me on Twitter at ShowMeFB.
And guys, all that stuff will be linked in the description of this video. Hit that like button and subscribe for more daily Chiefs content. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching. And as always, go Chiefs.